Hi guys, how are you doing? I'm Marijn Walboom. Welcome to my channel, and today I will be touching up the subject of red flags and why do we ignore red flags. So I come up this subject because I posted a video earlier this week, a short, and the engagement was higher than with all my other videos. So I guess it's a subject that for a lot of you is very current, happening in your life. And as well for my clients, like I have a lot of clients who have the same patterns of running into red flags, ignoring them, and then afterwards thinking like, oh my god, I knew this, why didn't I walk away? So let's first start with what are red flags. So red flags are situations or behavior of people that feels off and that is not in alignment with you. And we often see red flags as behavior in people, and then we start to judge those people. But I think if you look at it like this, it's behavior that is not in alignment with who we are. So for example, if you go on a date and this person you're having a date with is only talking about themselves and is not asking you any questions, and you feel that coming up with you in yourself, and you're thinking like, okay, this person is very nice and this person has very nice stories, but the whole time they didn't ask about me. And I also want to talk about me. Are they not interested in me? So that's like a red flag. That's something that's behavior of somebody else, of course, but which is not in alignment with you, because you feel in your system that something is off, or at least you feel an emotion in your system and you're asking yourself a question. So this is a red flag. Or if somebody is dismissing your feelings, like you're feeling sad and somebody will tell you like, well, you're not supposed to feel sad, or you don't feel sad because what I have is way worse, or it's these subtle things. And sometimes they're not subtle. Sometimes it's really rude behavior. Sometimes it's even abusive. But red flags are the things that pop up in your system and make you feel uncomfortable, or make you like, oh, I don't know, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel good. So this is not in alignment with who you are, and it doesn't make you comfortable. But here comes the thing. Why do we ignore this fact? So let's go back to this date. We are in this date, and then we think, okay, this person is not asking any questions about me. But the night continues, and you finish your dinner, and you have listened to the stories of this person, and this person has nice stories, and it seems like a good person, and it's also fun. But there's this little thing in the back of your head saying like, yeah, but it's he or she's not very interested in me. And then you end the night and you want to give this person a chance because it's a nice person, and maybe you start to make all kinds of excuses for this person, and you end up making another date. And because this person is asking you like, would you like to go on another date, and you're like, yeah, well, okay. So you go on another date, and maybe you get into this relationship with this person. And then after a while, the problem in your relationship is gonna be that this person shows no interest in you at all. And it gets worse and worse, and you feel irritated, or you feel lonely, or whatever it is. It's causing problems in your relationship, because this is a thing that somebody showed you on the first date, and you ignored it, and you brushed it off, and you gave this person a chance, and then it ended up being a deal breaker in your relationship, because it is a red flag. It is a red flag that if somebody is not interested in you in this way, that person is just not in alignment with you. So why do we ignore? So if we go back again to the date, if you are in balance, a normal reaction would be, if you go on this date and your gut feeling is telling you like, well, I don't really like it that this person is not asking anything about me. So you can do a couple of things. You can tell this person. You can tell this person like, hey, you're not asking me any questions. Are you not interested in me or in what I do? Or, you know, you can talk and be honest about it. Or maybe you decide like, okay, this person is not my person and I'm not going to go on another date because this just doesn't feel like the right fit for me. It's not an alignment. So what happens? What happens? Why do we ignore it? And that has something to do with a trigger and a familiarity in someone's behavior. So again, it's not the person itself, but it's triggering something within you. And because it seems familiar to you, this behavior, you're brushing it off. And now we take a step back. Is why? Why are you accepting this kind of behavior? Why are you accepting something that is not in alignment with you? Well, that is usually the case that this is what we know. So I think 9 out of 10 times you can bring this back to when you were younger, is that, for example, you had a caregiver who had exactly the same behavior, like was not very interested in what you had to tell. So, for example, if this would be your father and you craved his attention and you wanted to tell your stories, but your father was just not that interested in you or your life or the stuff that you were doing, whatever. So this is how you are used to receiving love, because that's what you do when you're little. You think this, oh well, this is the way how it works. This is how my father loves me. This is how my father treats me, and or my caregiver or any person in your life. So this is behavior, and because it is familiar, you can also recognize it during the date as something familiar. So even though your system maybe tells you like, oh, I don't know if I really like this, because you didn't like it either when your father did it. That's a whole different video about what's happening there, because you are going to move yourself in all kinds of directions to get the love that you crave from your father. So you're gonna try all kinds of things to get this attention from your father, to get him to be interested in you, but that's a whole different video. We're talking about the patterns right now, but that's what happening. But it's familiar because that's what you know. So yeah, you think it's pretty normal that somebody's not interested in you. And in this case, if we talk, for example, and it is not gender related, so it doesn't matter if you're male or female, but it has to do with your upbringing and with certain patterns and behavior that happened when you were small and you perceived as normal, and your system is used to it. So whenever you go on this date and this person is treating you like this, your system feels like this is normal. Like, oh yeah, I know this. So what we also think is like, oh, this feels familiar. So you think you are in alignment with a person, you think you are attracted to a person, but you're actually feeling the connection because you are used to it. And this is familiar to you. So your system recognizes familiarity within this behavior. And you brush it off just like you brushed it off with your father. You will brush it off with this person because this is how you know how you are treated. You don't know any better. But it doesn't mean that it's right for you. And we do know as adults what love should be or how we think love should feel. But in a lot of cases, we keep until we do something about this pattern, we'll keep giving people the brush away, or we'll give them the space to have this behavior because this is what we know. But we also attract people because it is like a radar. It's like you recognize it. So if we would, even if there is people who don't have this behavior, you might not be attracted to this person because you don't have any familiarity. So for example, if this person is very interested about you and asking the whole night questions, you might think, oh my God, this person is so nosy. He wants to know everything about me. So that can even repel because it's a pattern, but it is a pattern, and it's a pattern about what you learned. And what you learned was normal behavior. And if we take it a step further, is that you see a lot of times it happens when a parent is abusive. We oftentimes see that we choose a partner who is also abusive. And then everybody around you saying, why are you not walking away? Well, you couldn't when you were little. So why would you now? Because it's what you know. It's what you think you deserve. So the first thing is recognizing that it's behavior, and recognizing that you have certain patterns, negative belief systems within you active that attract people like this in your life, and you're letting them into your life because you don't know better. But now you run, and you're an adult, and you run into these situations all the time, and you're like, oh my God, I keep running into the same people and I wanted to stop. Well, that's the point. That's a good point. That's, for me, it's like where you decide like, okay, enough is enough. I had exactly the same. I kept running into the same kind of partners, and I kept being hurt time after time after time, until I thought, you know what, it's not the partners that I attract that are the problem, but the problem lies within me and within my boundaries, and me setting boundaries, and me recognizing. So there must be something within me that is not in alignment, which it wasn't. There was a lot of stuff that was not in alignment within myself. So that's where my healing journey started, and that's where I started to make healthier choices, and learning how to set boundaries, but also learning how to love myself, and also how to learn that some behavior is not okay, and learning that my system would recognize it because I knew it, but that doesn't mean it was good for me. So that's where my healing journey started. So that's a good point, where you are at the point like, okay, I see a pattern. And once you see the pattern, you can go to this pattern and think, okay, I can do something about it, which I always think it's a very positive thing, because, you know, oftentimes we feel that it's out of our hands because it's other people's behavior, but that's not it. We can fix this ourselves. We can do this ourselves. We can heal this ourselves. We don't need other people. We can do this by ourselves. Of course, you can ask for help, because sometimes it's difficult to do this on your own. So, you know, you can always ask a professional to help you figuring it out. But the first step is recognizing that there is a pattern, and that there is certain behavior you're allowing, or you're seeing, and that's not good for you. That's not in alignment with you. And then you start going to look at these patterns and see if you can change these negative belief systems about yourself, and see where you are allowing other people to cross your boundaries or to behave a certain way around you. And it's a whole journey. It's not something that's going to be done within a day, but it's a journey. But it's something that if you change it, it can change your complete life, because you will attract different kind of people in your life. And let me also say, it's like you're gonna let other people into your life because you are recognizing the patterns. And if you start recognizing the patterns within yourself, you also start to see them in other people. So for me right now, it's like, if I meet someone who has certain red flags, I don't judge this person, but I just see them as like, okay, they have stuff to work on as well, but it's not in alignment with who I am. I see it, I recognize it, but I choose not to engage with it, and I choose to walk away. That doesn't mean I can't get attracted to the familiar feeling I know, but I recognize it now. So I see whenever I get attracted to a person with certain behavior which is not in alignment with me, then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm recognizing this pattern again from the behavior I was used to when I was growing up, but I see it's not good for me, so I'll walk away. And also, I think less people have access to you in this way because you already are setting your boundaries. You already have a different behavior towards people. Like, for example, what I was saying about the date is that if I would go on a date right now and a person is only talking about himself, in my case, a man, I would ask him, like, like, you're talking a lot about yourself. Are you not interested in me? And if I would not ask, I would not continue the date, or I would tell him like, no, I'm sorry. And I am at the point where I'm very transparent, so I would be able to tell, I think in a loving, not judgmental way, how I feel. So, I also give the other person the chance to see their own behavior, because I see it as like also a pattern. This person is not the red flag. It's not that this person probably not interested, but this person probably doesn't even know he's doing it. And if nobody's telling him or her, then how would they know? So this is how I am, but that doesn't mean that you have to do it. But at least you can think, if it happens and it doesn't feel comfortable to you, and you think, okay, this is a red flag for me, I'm gonna walk away from this. And that's very important, because oftentimes we're in this pattern where we can't walk away from it, and we don't, and we end up in all kinds of situations where we're not happy because of these things. And usually the signals are always there. Always, when you look back at a situation, the red flags were always there. The signals, if you look back at any situationship or relationship or whatever, if you look back, the signals were always there, but you just kept ignoring them. This is what I do with a lot of my clients. I'll ask them, okay, so this is the situation. Now let's go back and see, were there any signals? And I think it's 100% every time that there were signals. And people tend to feel really stupid and judge themselves, like, yeah, I saw it, but why didn't I walk away? Well, this is because it feels familiar, it feels right, even though that little voice in your head is saying something, but you're ignoring your own voice, you're ignoring this because your system is reacting to it. And you're not making the registration of this as a pattern. So please be gentle. Be very gentle with yourself, and don't blame yourself from things in the past, or that you were stupid or whatever, because that doesn't make the situation any better. But just be very kind about it, and like, oh, this is what I was doing and I didn't know any better, but I do now, and I can do something about it. And that's, I think, the most important thing, is to be very, very kind towards yourself, and also to the other person, the person with the red flags, because these red flags are also oftentimes a mirror of what reflects in us, but also in themselves. So you can also be somebody else's mirror, and you can also be somebody else's red flag, mind you, because I think in many cases I have been a red flag for somebody, and somebody ignored the red flags in me. So, this is sometimes with my clients as well. I said, well, you're a major red flag, because, we are also red flags for another person. Because if we have certain behavior and we're not putting up any boundaries, that's also a red flag, and that other person should notice that, but they don't notice it because they can go over your boundaries. So it's nobody is clear of I don't want to say blame, because it's not blame, but it gives you a really good view on what it is and what patterns are there, and you get also empathetic towards other people who have red flags and who have this, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, you're stuck in a pattern. It's unhealthy, it's not for me, I'm gonna walk away, but good luck with it. But you know, you can see that it's all patterns, it's all behavior, and it has all everything to do with what we are taught when we are young, and the negative self-belief systems we're in. And so when you recognize this pattern, you do something about it, you can start your healing journey and then change everything around and become this person that is very good at seeing a red flag and then just not ignore it anymore. And that is very possible. I'm at the point right now in my life that I can see them, I see the patterns, I see the red flags, and I can walk away from it and not choose it anymore, because I stop myself. That doesn't mean my system sometimes doesn't recognize it as familiar, or you know, that I get attracted to someone or a situation. But for me, it is, I can really recognize it really fast. Like, oh, I'm into this pattern again. And then I'll pull myself away out of it and see how to deal with it. So this is red flags. And why we ignore them is because our system recognizes them as familiar. And even how bad it is sometimes easier to choose something like that than something completely unfamiliar. It even scares us away a lot of the times. It's like, if we have no clue how people should love us, it's you can see this pattern in other people as well. It's like they will push you away, they will do anything to not be loved, because this is just the belief system. It's like, I wasn't receiving any love, so I don't know how to receive that. So they don't know how to receive love in a normal, healthy way. So yeah, it's complicated and it involves a lot of healing and work. And I don't like to use the word work, to work on yourself, because that means like, oh, you have to struggle and stuff like that. So I try to avoid the word, but I can't always find the word I'm looking for. But it's like a gift to yourself as well, to start healing these patterns. And the good thing is that you don't have to attract those people or those situations anymore, because it has no reflection in you anymore, because you healed that part of yourself. So if you start healing and recognizing these patterns and working on it, then there is no reason to get a reflection of it anymore in your life. So you will stop attracting these people in your life, because they won't have a message for you anymore. There's nothing to learn anymore. And then you start to attract people who are way more in alignment with you, and who are able to show you the way how to treat you, because you know now how you want to be treated and how it feels to be treated, and you can put your boundaries there and choose the people only who make you feel good and who are in alignment with you, and situations which are in alignment with you. And it's we have in Dutch, we have a saying, it's vallen en opstaan, so it's falling down and getting up again. It's like healing is never linear, and especially when you start healing, their life will throw all kinds of challenges on your way to help you in this process. So you will get people on your way who will test you, and who will have the, will see like, okay, can I recognize it now? So it is usually it's quite messy actually, but life is messy sometimes. But it will help you on your journey, and it's not linear, so it goes up and down. And forgive yourself if you make mistakes, but we learn from our mistakes. And I always tell, be very, very gentle with yourself and kind towards yourself in this journey, because usually these negative belief systems and patterns have been with you for a long time already. So don't expect them to be away the next day, but you give yourself time to integrate this in your system in a different way and learn how to react differently, and your system needs to learn how to react on the kind of love or the things that you need in a different way. So, well, I think I've said all I wanted to say about this subject. If you think you have things to say, you can always put a comment in the video and tell me your experience with red flags or how you're dealing with it. Maybe you have questions. And also, I'm also available for intuitive coaching or a card reading around this subject maybe, or something else you need help with. I am here to help and to assist in this journey and help you figuring out where the negative belief patterns are and why you were stuck, and I'll help you get unstuck. That's my great passion. And there are many other people on this, walking on this earth, who are healers just like me, and whose passion it is to help people in situations like this to grow and to get more in alignment. So yeah, you are very welcome, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it supports you on your journey, and for now, big hug and see you later.